All right, we are Zooming here, VirginiaPreps.com style, as it's the virtual way to do interviews and have conversations in this COVID age we've been in from 2020 to 2021. And I'm pleased to be joined by the head basketball coach in his second year at the helm. He's not a newbie, though, to the state of Virginia when it comes to high school hoops. Corey Stitzel, as he has taken over a program that's just in its second year, the Independence Tigers up there in the Northern Virginia area. Prior to that, he was coaching at Stonebridge and had them making some noise. But this team coming off one of the thrilling games of the postseason to date, a triple overtime marathon, 107 to 102 as his team outlasted Skyline to win the Region 3 beat championship. Coach, congrats on that win. You got another game coming up. How's life treating you?
It's been great. We've had a great year in these crazy times that we talked about earlier. We had a terrific game on Friday night, as you said. I've been doing this for a long time, both at the college, professional, and high school level. And that was one of the best games I've been associated with, probably because I came out on the right side of it.
Sure.
And we're just preparing for a Hopewell team here on Wednesday that's is as athletic and plays as hard as anybody I've watched and since I've been a high school coach for the last 7 years. But things are good. We're excited to be where we are, especially in these difficult times, to get through a great season, and we're ready to roll for Wednesday.
It's great. And that'll be a 5 o'clock tip, I believe, on Wednesday.
Yes, 5
5
o'clock.
o'clock tip with the 12-4 Tigers of Independence taking on the 6-0 Hopewell Blue Devils. And before we highlight some of your key guys, let's kind of go back a little bit to your background because you do have some experience coaching on the college level and high school. And your brother, if not mistaken, is the head coach at Millersville. Is that right?
Yes, and there's a lot of Virginia flavor to his roster. There's no coincidence.
That's a Division II school in Pennsylvania, for those that don't know, correct?
Yes, Division II, and he's made. They got shut down this year. His league, the PSAC, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, but next year he'll be a top 10 team probably in the country.
Wow.
And probably will start anywhere from 2 to 3 Virginia kids, and I think he's up to 7 or 8 Virginia kids now on his roster.
Awesome.
So he's really made headways in this state.
Good deal. And then for you give us a little bit of the update or the background, I should say, for those that are unfamiliar with your bio, where you coached before you came to the Commonwealth, and what drew you to come into Virginia to coach first at Stonebridge and now Independence, and it's just its second year.
Yeah, I started as a Division III assistant at Elizabethtown College, my alma mater, and then I moved on to work for the Hall of Famer Herb McGee at now Jefferson University. It was Philly Textile, then Philadelphia University. He's been there for 50-some years, and the school's changed names 3 times. He's in the Naismith Hall of Fame. I was lucky enough to be a young Division III head coach, actually the youngest Division III head coach in the country at Newman College outside of Philadelphia at just 25 years old. And then from there, I went on to the Division I ranks to Marist College for a year, and then 4 years under Matt Brady at JMU. And family reasons took me here to Northern Virginia and took the Stonebridge job. Had a good run there, and this was a great opportunity here at a brand new school with a great administration. And I thought that, coming from the college ranks, you always know where you got to jump to when it's time to go. And I thought it was a really good time and a good place to go. And it's really worked out. I've really started this Virginia Premier AAU thing that a lot of people have seen on social media, where I have kids from here to Roanoke, to Richmond, to the beach, to now we're into North Carolina, West Virginia. I try to bring some kids some exposure. So it's been fun. It's not the college level, but we've got a lot of college players. I've had a lot of college players that keep me in that. And we've had a heck of a ride here at Independence these last 2 years as a new school. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's been neat to see you pre-COVID at some of these different traveling AAU events, such as the Hoop Group Southern Jam Fest and others that I know you go all across the country with those guys and help get them some notoriety and some exposure for the next level. For you personally, this past year, and then maybe your kids too, how was it not having the normal routine of an off season, travel ball, team camps, fall league, summer league, and then going into it? And I've thrown this to a lot of the different coaches you've done these Zooms with. Did you think we might not get to this point, particularly in Northern Virginia, where there was early whisper that it would be one of the first areas not to play? Arlington had initially decided they're not going to play. They reversed that decision quickly. But of the 70, 80 schools, pretty much everybody in Northern Virginia, save T.C. Williams, is playing, and most of the ones opting out have been in Tidewater or Richmond.
I didn't think we have a shot here playing where we are today. When we started looking at as the fall, and then it got towards winter. Credit the administrations, credit the athletic directors, credit the principals for allowing that to happen and give these kids some normalcy. I was lucky enough that even since last June during the pandemic, our premier teams were up and running, and we were basically playing every weekend from South Carolina to Pennsylvania.
Really?
So my travel teams were up and running.
Fun.
Virginia didn't have much at the time. Towards the end of the summer and fall, they started opening up. Don Burgess, the Harrisonburg High School coach's son, Jaden,
Mhm.
plays on my 2023 team. He started running some events there at a new facility there. Uh, so we were lucky from the travel circuit. Actually, 9 kids on my 2021 team, AAU team, Virginia Premier team, got scholarship offers. So we were lucky to get that up and running. In terms of independence, we couldn't do much. We played in a fall league up here in Northern Virginia that started around Labor Day, and we were able to get about 8 or 9 games in running clock. It was just a way to get kids playing up here. We had to play as a Virginia Premier team, couldn't be independents, but it gave us some experience, and we're still relatively young. And one of the things that really helped us is we have one of the top 2023s in the state, and maybe East Coast, and Wes Williams, who already has an Atlantic 10 offer from Duquesne. I expect him to pick up some more offers here in the next couple of weeks, and he plays on my 2023 team, AAU team. So he was able to play through the pandemic as well, which I really think helped him mature and grow and continue to get the experience that he needed.
Well, it's probably no surprise to you that Stonebridge is doing as well as it is in Class 5 in the state tournament. You had some good guards there. I know Evan Buckley was one that comes to mind. They also had Jason Jolly, and now you've got a guy in Wes Williams leading the way as we dive into your guys. 40 points for him the other night in that triple overtime game against Skyline. And as soon as the third overtime started, I believe he fouled out. And I was sitting there going, oh no, this is going to be hard for you guys to win that game without him. And the rest of your guys stepped up. Kudos to a young man who doesn't have a lot of the numbers that say the Gagan brothers or Wesley Williams have, but Aiden Cebulski made some crucial plays. But kind of give us the breakdown of some of those guys, beginning with Wes, because he is a really special talent and does some things you just can't teach on the floor.
He's terrific. He's not a phenomenal athlete, but he's kind of a kid that knows how to get to his spots, a very cerebral player, really improved as a shooter, which has taken his game to another level. Terrific in the mid range, starting to finish better at the rim, elite level passer, willing defender. He had 40 in that game, and he fouled out in the third overtime. He also got his third foul with 4 minutes left in the second quarter. He got his third foul, so he didn't play the rest of the second quarter. And basically, I started him in the third quarter. He got his fourth foul 2 minutes into the third quarter, so he basically didn't play 2 full quarters in that basketball game, and still had 40.
Could
So
have
it
had
was
60 maybe.
yes, and Jason Jolly, a guy you mentioned, who
Mhm.
still today is one of the best players I've ever coached at any level. In the same regional semifinal, my first year at Stonebridge, had 51 against Edison,
That's
and
right.
against one of the better Edison teams that there was around.
Mhm.
So kind of a different 51. Wes's 40 was different than Jason's 51. They're different players. But he really carried us. And then Brad Gagan made 7 threes, and he fouled out early in this first overtime. And then his brother Jack really stepped up there in the last overtime. And like you said, Aiden Cebulski was a kid that I didn't even know if he was going to make the basketball team. And we started in December, and he had 11 points, 6 for 7 from the foul line, and hit a big three. And, as that's what you need when you're in
Mhm.
playoff regional basketball. You got to have some depth and guys that can go in. We play 2 freshmen in our top 7, so we're still young, and Wes is a sophomore. And Aiden's a junior that plays here and there, and really came in and stepped up and was able to grind out a road victory against a Skyline team who I think is pretty good and very talented. I'm a straight shooter on who I think is good and who's not. And I don't really pull punches, but I really thought Skyline was talented from top to bottom, athletic, long, and was as good as we've seen in a couple of years in terms of that level.
Well, the neat thing, and I put that one on amongst the 10 to 15 games I watch on a regular basis, as you well know. And I kind of heard about them early in the year and started watching them. And they had some players that impressed me: Zach Diggs, Marion Haley, Marlon Jackson, inside from the junior scratch service. Both of your rosters are predominantly underclassmen, so we could be seeing a little Skyline Independence playoff rivalry brewing here in a couple of years. You never know what happens in this day and age we're in. Kids can bolt, kids can leave it, but it's still neat to see a lot of freshmen, sophomores, kids that aren't seniors make an impact in that type of game. And in Brad Gagan's case, he hit about 80, 90 threes a year ago. He's a Tennessee baseball commit.
Yeah, he's a Tennessee baseball commit. He made 89 threes last year. And this year's shortened season, he's around mid-40s, close to 50.
Hmm.
He's a lefty sniper. He's a lefty pitcher, lefty shooter. Um, that is going to be a great rivalry. But we go 5A next year. We're
Okay.
Independence.
Right, you did move
We
up.
make the jump to 5A. So we're excited about that. We're really excited about that. As you well know, I played in your events before. I like to play the best, private, public, whoever will play me anywhere. So we're excited about making that move as well.
Well, I thought early in the year you could see your guys were still kind of finding themselves a little bit, and certainly with not having the traditional off season. I know a year ago you kind of made some noise. You beat Loudoun County. You had a really good year, had a long win streak here before they had that snapped in their original championship game against Hanley. And this team, it seemed, was there a point in this run here? Was it just during these playoffs where you kind of said, "All right, we're starting to turn the corner a little bit"?
We had won 11 of our last 12,
Okay.
and we played Broad Run, who was really talented this year, early in the year, and got beat up pretty good. And then we played them a second time, and we led from start to finish. In fact, we were up close to 20 at one point. And that really turned the corner on the road. And then we got a little bit of a streak going, and we got our confidence going, and our young guys continue to get better and get experience. We do a lot of skill work and stuff like that, and we shoot a lot of threes. So the reps, I think, really helped, and our kids stepped up and were leaders, and we were able to grind out a lot of road victories, and we had some games we knew we could win. And as that goes, you get good momentum, and sometimes it's when you're playing well, and we're playing well at the right time, and got hot early, and late, and we're going to keep this thing rolling.
One other name I didn't bring up with you, the Gagan twins, Sobolski. You know about Wes Williams being a special talent. The freshman for you, I believe it's Gabriel Colthurst.
Yeah, he's going to be a special one. I expect him to be a Division I kid here in the future, if not sooner than later. 6'4", 6'5", really developing. Another kid, again, skill work. We shoot a lot of threes. The kid couldn't hit the broadside of a barn probably 3 months ago, and now he hit a big one the other night. He's made like 12 out of his last 16 threes. There's a kid shooting 40% in our fall league from the foul line. He's close to 75. Now he's going to be a special one. He's got to get a little stronger and still continue to learn how to play with the ball on the wing, but he's going to be a big wing here in Virginia basketball for a long time. There's a lot of schools calling already.
Mm-hmm. As you look at this Hopewell team, you mentioned just how athletic and talented they are. They got a kid in Elvin Edmonds, the fourth, who's among the best scorers, regardless of classification, already signed to play at Bucknell. This is a team that, and then people always say, well, we don't know this year how legit some of the champs are. Teams opted out. It doesn't matter who's playing. Hopewell's always in the hunt every year in Richmond with one of the best, whether they're in a 3A, a 5A, whatever division, they're always right there.
They're terrific. I've watched a lot of film on them, and obviously Nathan Davis at Bucknell and Joe Meehan, their head recruiter, are really good friends of mine. So I was aware of the Edmonds kid and actually watched him in the summer a couple times for just watching for a couple different schools. They're terrific. He's very good, but their other secondary parts are really good. They have a way to play. They're aggressive. They press. They get in your face. They play extremely hard. They spread you out on offense. They got guys that can get to the rim and shoot. This will be a great challenge for us on the road, a 2.5 hour, 2:45 bus ride. But as you know, we're a 3A school for the last 2 years that played in a 4, 5, and 6A league schedule. So we're battle tested against really good teams. We've got 13 wins against 4, 5, or 6s in 2 years of our school opening. And I'd be hard pressed to find that anybody else in 3A has that. So we play good teams every night out. So hopefully that helps us. But I'm going to tell you, from an athletic standpoint, a speed standpoint, and then you put the skill that they have, this is going to be a class above of what we've seen, especially this year. But we play good schedule. We work hard. We'll see what happens.
When you win a game in the hundreds, and I know you can also win a game that's not in the hundreds here, but what's the key when you look at them? Because it seems like they relish that type of up and down game as well. What's going to be the key as you kind of break it down from afar here?
We've got to not turn the ball over against their press that lead. Live ball turnovers will kill us where they can get layups. High school kids are going to turn the ball over when you press and play fast. It's just the way the game is. But, when you turn on a TV, college or NBA, they always talk about live ball turnovers. If you walk, they take the ball out of bounds against a set defense. You got a chance to get a stop. If we live ball turnovers, have a lot of live ball turnovers, and they get layups and then get the momentum, we're going to be in for a tough night. We can break the press and get into our stuff and make a couple shots, and go on the road here. And they've only played 6 games. This will be our 17th, maybe they start thinking about it. And when the ball starts going in, anything can happen. Herb McGee, as I mentioned before, the winningest coach in basketball, every time we used to come out on the floor, he'd look at me and he's got 1,200 wins. And he'd say, if we make shots tonight, we got a chance. And it's so simple, but he's so correct. If we make shots, we got a chance. If we don't, it's going to be hard to win on the road.
Sure. And final one, it's kind of a multifaceted question here. As you kind of step back here, win, lose, or draw, you can win both games, win a state championship. You can win one, lose in the state final. You can lose and be done Wednesday night. But I mean, there's teams that haven't gotten this chance to play. There's teams that didn't win a game like Halifax. It's now got a chance to win a Class 4 title. There's teams that have been playing 15 plus games like yours. Some of them only played 5 to 6. And then you look at Class 3 specifically. I mean, it was kind of a strange year. But there was a lot of good teams. I thought Class 3 was the deepest this year, outside of maybe Class 6, which had 70 of its 74 schools participate. Well, we see Charlottesville, they get put on pause because of the contact tracing, no fault of their own. Western Alabama doesn't get to compete in this. I mean, how thankful are you in a lot of ways, but also knowing too, like, man, we still got a chance to win this thing. You haven't really looked at even the other two teams that much in Abingdon and Liberty Christian, but I mean, it's a kind of a mixed bag of you're enjoying it, but also knowing there's still a lot to be hungry about.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a crazy year, and I feel for all those schools, and I feel for the kids that didn't even get a chance to play at all. I think we are missing as a world, as coaches, as administrators, governors, whatever it is. I'm not a political person. We are forgetting America's youth here during this. The kids need normalcy. Kids need to play sports. Kids need to get into school. Kids need their lives back. And I feel for all these schools around. I've seen Charlottesville. I've seen Western Albemarle. Those two teams could have won the state title. There's no bones about it. Western Albemarle, big, and and Charlottesville, fast and athletic, sort of a Hopewell type. I've seen Abington and I've seen Liberty Christian as well. Both very capable. Abington's big with Evan Ramsey, and Liberty Christian is Jalen Leftwich. Because when we're always on the AAU circuit, I see a lot of those kids. We're thankful that we've had a chance to play our 17th game. We've had 0 COVID issues within our program. We've only had 1 game that was postponed.
That's amazing, by the way. I mean, I always marvel at because y'all here the NFL got through the entire thing without missing a single game. And I look at some of the Northern Virginia schools like you guys. I know Broad Run, I don't think had any case. It's amazing because there's been a lot that have had pauses. Is there anything you chalk that up to other than maybe just your staff has done a great job of making sure everything was top notch? Or
we've taken all the necessary precautions. We talked to the kids about being responsible, off the court, and stay out of the big party groups and groups of whatever. You're ultimately putting that into a 15 to 18-year-old kid. I think our kids have done an amazing job. I think our school has done a great job, the county, everybody with the protocols. But if you really want my honest opinion, and you've known me for a while, I'm an honest guy. I think it's sometimes the luck of the draw. We don't know what's going on here. Your kid can go into a store to pick up medicine for his mom and get it. You just don't, you don't know. And I think we got lucky. We did take the proper protocols, but I'm sure a lot of other places did too, to no fault of their own. We're in a crazy world with a disease that really nobody can figure out and where it goes and what. And we're just lucky that we got 17 games, because I looked at this as at some point we were going to get shut down, or the county was going to get shut down. And this really was going to be a scrimmage year because we're so young to really get ready and get as many games in as we can. They prepare for next year when we go 5A. But as we sit here tonight at 10:30 on Monday night, we're in the Final Four of the state. And as I always say, when we go to AAU tournaments and we're tired on a Sunday, we're here, we're still alive. We might as well go win the darn thing.
Hey, go do it. You got 2 more to get. Independence will try to get that first one against unbeaten Hopewell in an interesting Class 3 state semifinal game coming up 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Thank you so much, Coach, for doing this. Best wishes to you and your guys. Congrats on all you've achieved so far, and stay safe, all right?
Can't say enough of what you've done. Kids all need exposure here, and you're on Twitter and your platforms. What you're doing for kids in schools is everybody needs to do. I'm a guy that prides myself off kids playing at the next level and helping kids do that. And you're a huge part of doing that right now with your social media platforms and the things you're doing. And you're always good at what you do. But this year, everybody needed you more, and you really stepped up as you always did, and know everybody else expected. So you deserve a lot of credit. There are haves and have-nots during the pandemic, and you certainly have shown what everybody already knew that you are, and you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you, Coach. It's a labor of love, and I appreciate all that you've done as well for the kids out there that go to Independence and others as well. So thank you, and good luck on Wednesday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.